What's trending this week in the Vatican? Join us right now as we bring you the inside story on the top 3 Vatican stories of the week. They say distance makes the heart grow fonder, and for the Patriarch of Iraq, he is finally able to rejoin his community after a year of being away. Cardinal Luis Rafael Sako has returned to Iraq after almost a year away from his patriarchal see in Baghdad. His return came after the country's prime minister signed a decree re-recognizing the cardinal as patriarch of the Chaldean church and responsible for the church's property. The cardinal had left Iraq and moved to a monastery in Iraqi Kurdistan in July 2023 following a crisis in diplomatic relations between the patriarchate and Iraqi leaders. Last year, the president of Iraq revoked the decree recognizing his ecclesiastical position among Iraq's institutions. With his reinstatement, Cardinal Sako returned to the country and celebrated a mass to express his gratitude. The local community, as well as bishops, priests, and nuns, attended the mass. In Iraq, the majority of Catholics are from the Chaldean Rite. This country has 96 Chaldean parishes with almost 650,000 members. The G7 summit looked a little bit different this year, as the head of the Catholic Church made his first ever appearance. And in the end, Pope Francis didn't just give a speech, but his schedule also included meetings with world leaders. Pope Francis arrived at the G7 summit venue in the southeastern part of Italy by helicopter. Once in the region of Puglia, the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni greeted him. Together they rode in a golf cart to the resort where this international meeting took place, involving the world's wealthiest democracies, where Italy currently holds the presidency. Because of this, Pope Francis's first bilateral meeting at the G7 was with Meloni, who gave the Pope these details of the area with a unique gift.
Sono tutti rosari fatti dalle signore del posto con le nocciole delle ciliegie, con tutti i prodotti naturali.
Important world figures such as the managing director of the International Monetary Fund also passed through the room with the Pope. He also met with Ukrainian President Zelensky, who thanked the Pope for seeing him again and for his requests and prayers for peace in Ukraine. And the Pope responded by thanking him for a special visit he made in December 2023. Other meetings also included with the French President Emmanuel Macron and the Prime Minister of Canada. But these were only the meetings in the morning. Afterwards, Pope Francis delivered his speech at the summit and greeted politicians such as the President of the United States, Joe Biden, the President of Argentina, Javier Milei, and the President of Turkey. Following the G7 roundtable, he held private meetings with them. Who says Catholics don't like to laugh? Comedians from around the world snuck in some jokes with Pope Francis at a special meeting dedicated to the importance of humor. For one morning, the universal language of the Vatican was laughter, as comedians from all over the world met with Pope Francis. For some, it was not their first time meeting the head of the Catholic Church. But what was different was the message he gave the group, one specifically meant for them.
It was nice to see him again, and nice to see him in this environment with comics who very rarely get a lot of love, but him reminding all of us that humor is everything. It really is meaningful to us as humans, meaningful to God, and it's nice to get a little pat on the back.
More than 100 comedians filled the Apostolic Palace to participate in this initiative, promoted by the Dicasteries for Culture and Education and for Communication. Each greeted the Pope individually, some even getting him to crack a smile. And Pope Francis left them reflecting on the relationship between humor and faith.
I love this Pope, for all his flaws. He's a human being. If he thinks comedy could be part of the life of the church and your role as a good Catholic or a good Christian, well, I'll think about that. I don't know how to do it. Adding dignity or respectability to comedians never helps. So I'm not going to take it too seriously, but it was an honor.
Pope Francis not only gave the group advice, but also a physical reminder of the experience, a rosary, which at least one comedian already has a plan for.
It's one of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, and I did get a rosary bead from the Pope, and so that's a nice thing to have. I can bring that to my mom, and that's going to mean the world to her. So, and then I can take it away from my mom and sell it on eBay. So, yeah, and then keep the cash for myself. So, yeah, I've got this whole thing worked out.
As these comedians return to their shows and podcasts, they bring with them both the Pope's words and the memory of his all-too-famous smile. That's it from us at Rome Reports for this week. Join us again next time as we see what's trending here in the Vatican.